honor flight and a teacher with a goal to bring veterans and students together to make history. They are about to share an experience none of them will ever forget. Which started as a community fundraiser for local families and causes, has turned into a passion project, not just for the fourth grade teacher, but for hundreds of her students over nearly 15 years. Kris Yingling, teacher at West Carroll Primary in Savannah, Illinois. Veterans sharing their stories, inspiring the students with real-life experiences, stories of sacrifice, patriotism, and service.
We range anywhere from 60 kids to, back in the day, we probably had 75, 80 some years. We have vets come in about a month before we ride and tell their military stories, talk about their experiences.
After I finished boot training, I went into aviation mechanics.
And then our kids take pledges, flat donations, or a per lap, and then we ride on a Monday, the first nice day of the week.
Why is it important to you that the kids be part of something like this?
Well, I feel like sometimes our veterans get forgotten, and having them come in and tell their stories, and then the honor flight itself is such a great thing to honor our veterans, especially those Vietnam guys that get to go now that didn't receive that welcome home. So the kids learn a little bit about the military experiences, and then those that are able to make it down to the honor flight welcome home.
Gentlemen, welcome home our heroes, Honor Flight 53!
A life lesson for so many students who have put in the pedal power as a way to thank a veteran, raising money to send as many of them as they can on a trip of a lifetime on an honor flight to Washington, D.C., and then be there to welcome them back home.
It was just magical seeing some of them breaking down. But if you go, you're going to have to be prepared for some firm handshakes.
It really meant a lot to them, and it was emotional for them and for us as teachers to watch them and be proud of what they're doing and what they're learning.
A class outside of class that started with the first flights of World War II veterans.
And shaking hands with the veterans. I remember our first group we took down, it happened to be 5 boys, and hearing those World War II vets come through, they just, oh, look at these young kids, and they were so excited to see young people there thanking them. So that just, I don't know, reaffirmed what we were doing and that we need to continue it.
And some of the youngest that you have from back then are now, what, out of high school already?
Oh yeah, let's see, 2011. Well, yeah, that was 13 years ago, so they're well out of high school.
I used to always ask you, you had the kids generally answer how much you raise year to year. Do you have a running total for us?
Well, because the 61st flight is dedicated as sponsored by the West Carroll Bike-a-thon, from 2011 to present, we're around 58,000.
58,000 from fourth graders.
Yep.
And now, as a thank you, the Honor Flight of the Quad Cities has dedicated this fall's flight in their name.
And I'm excited this honor flight, my 2 co-teachers are going as guardians, and my sister is a guardian, and all 3 of them have a female veteran. I'm hoping they live close enough that maybe they'll come and talk, because we've never had female vets come and talk to the kids, and I think that would be a cool experience.
So in all these years raising money to send them, now you guys are going with them.
Mm-hmm. And I have gotten to go twice, which was an amazing experience, and I said I wanted these 2 to go because for me the welcome home is, the whole day is fantastic, but the welcome home is the best part. And to see our 4th graders shaking hands and saying thank you for your service, that means a lot.
Thank you guys for serving our country. Thank you. That was nice.
And I know you keep this about the veterans, but you received a very important recognition for your work. Tell me about that.
I did receive the Illinois VFW Teacher of the Year. I was nominated by a veteran that has come in and talked with our kids and is a good friend, Tim Cavanaugh. And I know Mr. Pilgrim wrote a letter for that, and I was able to go down to Springfield during the VFW convention and receive that award. And I encourage everybody to get vets into the classroom and hear their stories, because it doesn't seem to happen very often.
All I did was work on aircraft engines, making sure that they worked properly.
No, and you can't find their stories in books.
No.
Right?
No.
And to see the kids as they listen to these stories, they don't get it all, of course.
Right.
But some of it really sinks in and really stays with them for a while.
Yeah, and you saw how quiet they were while the vets were talking, and then how loud it got when they went through to shake hands. They're always really good and listening to the vets and their stories, and I think that means a lot to the vets too, and it's just good for our kids to hear from them.
So this is a passion project for you. What has this meant overall to you in your life?
Oh gosh, there aren't too many honor flight welcome homes that I miss anymore, even if it's not one that's for our bike-a-thon. And Becky Atherton, that's a co-teacher, is usually my co-pilot. One of us is driving. And all the teachers that have helped with this through the year. Gosh, in the beginning, Susie Ostrom, Judy Mathers, Pam Watts, and then we had Tammy Haig and Kim Falk and Janelle Iben, Travis Hartman, and now Sydney Schmidt. I don't know, it's just so important for our kids to hear the stories and for the vets to get that welcome home at the airport. So I just always hope that it's packed, and it's so fun to see everybody cheering and the smiles of the veterans. It just makes everything worth it.
But for you personally, though, this is so important. Why is it so important to you? Beyond that the kids need this history lesson, if you will.
My dad served in the Navy, didn't talk about it much, was only in a year or two, long before I was born, and have had other uncles and great uncles that have served, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just important that we honor our veterans, all our veterans.
This is the way you are serving.
Yes, yes. To serve our veterans, to serve our country. I've never been in the military, but I try to do what I can to help support them.
Now, 8 years later, we all have changed just a bit. They are back at the airport, this time with a new understanding of what they did back then in the 4th grade and what it means to them now.
I didn't really take pride in what I was doing. I just was like, oh, I'm riding a bike. I didn't really understand what it all went to. But it's so fun to come back and realize actually what we did.
But it means a lot to be here now, especially in our jackets.
It means a lot to us. Back in 4th grade, we were just like, oh, it's a great day to be out. We didn't know what it actually meant. We were just riding our bikes for fun. But now as we got older, it just means a lot to us what we did.
Welcome them all home. Just show our appreciation to them. Show them how much it means to us, what they did for our country.
And on this night, the older kids representing their school and the FFA. And here, the next generation of 4th graders and a busload of supporters, thanking men and women from their community as they return from the trip to D.C. to the hero's welcome that means so much to so many.
Welcome home. You bet. Thank you. Good job, buddy. Thank you. You bet. Welcome home.
And for the teacher who helped make all this possible. The pride on display, both for our country and for a small community school that made a big difference. One bike and one veteran at a time.
I'm so excited to see all the West Carroll people. The FFA kids from high school came down, and we've got 4th graders, 5th graders that rode down on the bus. It's great.
Thanks to our sponsors, Peterson Plumbing and Heating, QCA Pools and Spas, and Morrison Community Hospital.